In a small village, there lived a humble gardener named Eli. He wasn't wealthy, but he was known for his lush, beautiful garden that seemed to bloom no matter the season. People from the village would visit, asking for tips on how to make their own gardens flourish. But Eli always had the same answer: the secret lies in the seeds. One day, a young man named Sam, who had recently moved to the village, approached Eli. Sam had big dreams of becoming successful, but he felt stuck. He had tried multiple ventures, from starting a bakery to opening a shop, but nothing seemed to work. He was ready to give up, thinking maybe success wasn't meant for him. "Tell me," Sam asked, "how do you make your garden grow so beautifully? What's the secret?" Eli smiled gently and motioned for Sam to sit beside him on the stone bench in the middle of his garden. "I'll show you," he said, pulling out a handful of seeds from his pouch. Sam looked at the seeds. They were tiny, barely visible to the naked eye. "You want me to plant these?" Sam asked, puzzled. "Yes," Eli replied, "but more importantly, you need to understand what they represent." Curious, Sam followed Eli to a patch of earth. Eli dug small holes, placed the seeds in one by one, and covered them carefully with soil. "It's not just about planting," Eli explained. "It's about what happens after you plant the seed. You don't see the roots growing underground, but they're there, building strength and stability." Sam was still confused. "But it takes months before you see anything grow. How can you be sure that these little seeds will ever become anything?" Eli nodded thoughtfully. "That's where most people make the mistake. They plant their seeds, whether it's their dreams, their goals, or their hard work, and expect immediate results. But growth, real growth, is a slow process. You have to trust that it's happening even when you don't see it." Days passed. Sam returned to the garden, but he still didn't see any signs of life from the seeds. He began to question Eli's advice. A week later, Eli took Sam on a walk around the village, showing him how other gardens had been planted by villagers who were not patient, who didn't water their plants, who didn't care for the soil. These gardens were dry, overgrown with weeds, and barely growing. "See," Eli said, "these gardens have been neglected. They were planted with excitement, but they weren't nurtured. They didn't have the right care." Sam looked at the wilting gardens and then back at Eli's flourishing one. The old gardener continued, "The real work happens when no one is looking. The soil needs to be nurtured, the weeds need to be pulled out, and you have to trust that in time the roots are growing deeper. Your dreams, too, need that care. The late nights, the small actions, the patience, all of that matters. And just like the garden, you'll wake up one day and see the fruit of your labor." Days turned into weeks. Sam kept returning to Eli's garden, watching it bloom slowly, steadily, and beautifully. He started to realize that his own efforts, however small, were beginning to add up. He didn't see the results immediately, but he could feel something shifting within him. After months of tending to his own work, taking small, consistent steps, Sam found himself at a crossroads. He had been struggling with a new project, a small cafe he had decided to open. But this time, instead of rushing to see the results, he took Eli's advice to heart. He worked patiently, made small improvements every day, and most importantly, he stopped focusing on the immediate outcome. One morning, as he opened his cafe to a line of eager customers, Sam realized he had achieved more than he could have imagined. His efforts had borne fruit, just like the seeds in Eli's garden. The secret wasn't the big dreams or the grand gestures. It was in the quiet, daily work, the moments when no one was watching, the patience in waiting for the roots to grow, and most importantly, the trust in the process.